The warning comes too late. The road is blocked, the safe zone is burning, and the last rescue vehicle is already gone. These 8 disaster movies do not ask whether the catastrophe can be stopped. They trap ordinary people inside escape plans that collapse one by one. Tunnels fill with smoke, cities disappear underwater, and every route to safety becomes a new threat. Stay to the end because the final film turns an entire ship into a deadly upside-down maze. Number 8. A tanker truck crashes inside a 9-kilometer mountain tunnel while a blizzard seals the roads outside. In the tunnel, commuters have one obvious plan: follow the passage toward daylight before the smoke reaches them. But visibility disappears, abandoned cars form a wall, emergency crews cannot get through, and the fire turns the tunnel into a furnace with no clear direction. The cruel part is how ordinary it feels. Families on a holiday drive, teenagers, people who assumed help was already on the way. Instead, every minute makes the same route more dangerous. It is a lean Norwegian survival thriller built around one terrifying idea. When the only exit is straight ahead, what happens when the road itself becomes the trap? Number 7. A family wakes to an orange sky and learns that a wildfire has already surrounded their home. On Fire gives them a simple plan: get in the truck, reach the main road, and drive beyond the flames. Then the wind changes, fallen trees block the route, smoke erases the road, and every turn sends them closer to the fire. The film keeps its danger personal: a father, his pregnant wife, their son, and almost no time to decide which path is still alive. There are no giant control rooms or impossible superweapons here. Survival depends on fuel, visibility, and one choice made seconds too late. It feels frightening because the evacuation is not heroic. It is confused, improvised, and collapsing in real time. Number 6. 2 miles underground, a methane explosion cuts 9 miners off from the surface. Mine 9 begins with the only plan they have practiced: use their self-rescuers, stay together, and reach a safe passage before the oxygen runs out. But the equipment is unreliable. Smoke hides the route, injuries slow the group, and the mine they know better than anyone becomes unfamiliar in seconds. The countdown is brutally simple: about 1 hour of air, and no guarantee the rescue team can even reach them. What makes this one work is the physical exhaustion. Every crawl costs oxygen, every wrong tunnel costs time, and every man has to decide whether survival is still a group effort when the air becomes personal. Number 5. An evacuation order is already in effect when a young swimmer drives back into a Florida hurricane to find her father. In Crawl, getting him out of the family home should be the entire mission. Instead, rising water seals the exits, the storm kills power and communication, and enormous alligators turn the flooded crawl space into hunting ground. Each escape route briefly looks possible: a stairway, a boat, the street, the roof. Then the disaster changes the rules again. It is fast, vicious, and almost perfectly designed for tension because the danger never resets. The house is shrinking, the water is climbing, and even reaching open air does not mean safety when the whole neighborhood has become part of the flood. Number 4. 6 miles below the ocean, a drilling station starts imploding before its crew understands what hit it. Underwater skips the long warning and goes straight to the escape plan: cross the sea floor in pressure suits and reach another facility before the structure collapses. Then the lights fail, oxygen becomes uncertain, the terrain breaks apart, and something in the darkness begins following them. The route is already lethal before the creatures arrive. One cracked suit or one wrong door can end everything instantly. That makes the film feel less like a rescue story and more like a controlled panic attack. The survivors are not trying to save the world. They are moving from one fragile pocket of air to the next, while the ocean crushes everything behind them. Number 3. Both ends of a commuter tunnel vanish in a single explosion beneath the Hudson River. Daylight traps a handful of survivors between fire, toxic fumes, collapsing concrete, and water pushing in from above. Their first escape route looks logical, but the tunnel is too unstable. The next one costs time they do not have. When former rescue chief Kit Latura enters through the ventilation system, even he becomes trapped with them, turning a rescue mission into one shared attempt to get out. This is old-school disaster filmmaking at its best. Practical destruction, clear geography, and constant pressure. Every solution damages something else, and the tunnel keeps proving that the shortest route to daylight may be the fastest way to die. Number 2. Water has swallowed the city, and the upper floors of one apartment tower are becoming the last pieces of dry land. In the Great Flood, an AI researcher and her young son try to reach the roof before the building disappears beneath the rising water. Elevators fail, stairwells turn into vertical rivers, panicked survivors fight for space, and a security officer arrives with a mission that makes their escape far more complicated. The scale feels enormous, but the film keeps returning to one simple fear: a parent losing sight of a child while the safe floor keeps moving upward. It begins like a pure flood thriller, then opens into a stranger science fiction mystery. One reason it can provoke as much debate as tension. Number 1. One wave flips an ocean liner upside down, killing the lights and turning every familiar room into a vertical maze. In Poseidon, the captain tells survivors to wait for rescue, but a small group makes the opposite choice: climb toward the hull before the ship sinks. That plan immediately becomes a nightmare. Corridors are flooded, elevator shafts become cliffs, fires burn above them, and every route depends on trusting a stranger who may be wrong. The genius of the setup is visual. You always understand where safety should be, yet the ship's new gravity makes it almost unreachable. Few disaster movies commit this completely to escape as the entire story. The way out is technically above them, but reaching it means moving deeper into a ship that is dying room by room. Which escape plan would you trust? And which movie would kill you first? Tell me your pick in the comments. If you want more disaster and survival films built around impossible choices, subscribe to Best Movies and watch the next ranking on screen.